So if you haven't already, you should probably check out one of the 3 forum posts that details an upcoming balance patch to Guild Wars 2. This is a patch preview, there is still time to make changes, but it does seem like these changes could be pretty huge for the game, especially in the competitive modes, and that's what I'm mostly excited about and will be talking about in this video. There's a link to each one of these forum posts in the description of this video, so if you want to go there, read what the changes are, and suggest some feedback, you can do that. But to avoid any confusion, because this was split up into 3 separate forum posts, let me tell you what each one of those posts is so your feedback ends up in the right place. So first we have the global patch notes, and this is pretty much what you're used to from a typical ArenaNet balance patch. This is changes to skills and traits, and some splits between PvP, World vs. World, and PvE. That said, they have basically deleted some traits from the game and replaced them with new ones, as well as reworked different parts of classes, so you're definitely going to want to read these patch notes because they probably affect your gameplay. Secondly, and what I'm mostly excited about, are the PvP and World vs. World patch notes. Now, these are 2 forum posts that have the exact same information in them. For now, it looks like they want to make the same changes in competitive modes because they're trying to tackle similar issues. And as far as those patch notes, in summary, basically everything's getting nerfed. I even take the time to explain this and kind of derail the video because I want you guys to give feedback, and I would like that feedback to be in the correct forum. They took the time to split it up, so I just wanted to make sure you guys knew exactly what was going on. Also, because you now know that PvP and World vs. World are getting the same changes and that basically everything is being nerfed, it's a lot less likely, I'm hoping, that you will look at just your main class, see that it's getting nerfed, and then give feedback like, you nerfed my class, why did you do this? Basically everything is getting nerfed, and so it's not unfair if your class is being taken down a notch. It appears like that's sort of the point of the balance patch. So with all that out of the way, we can now talk about the balance patch, but as many of you guys already know, I'm kind of a casual player, including in Guild Wars 2. In PvE, I tend to get as good as I need to beat the PvE content, but in PvP, I do push myself a lot more, as long as it seems like if I put in the time, I will get better and I will be able to succeed in that game mode. So just for like a random example, let's say that structured PvP in Guild Wars 2 has been kind of bursty for a long time. How am I, as a player trying to get into this game mode, supposed to even know what happened if I'm dead in like 3 seconds and learn from that and get better? This, for me at least, often results in me just copy pasting one really broken build, probably on Mesmer, and then just playing out games until I get bored with it and moving right along. This doesn't allow me to gain a deeper appreciation for the game or the combat or the synergies that are going on. I just leave the game mode because it seems like if I don't play a broken build, I'm just gonna die really fast anyway, so I might as well play really broken builds against really broken builds. So with that in mind, we are definitely not going to talk about the global changes today because I simply do not have the knowledge to talk about the class changes in any kind of depth or with any kind of background that would justify it. Instead, I'd like to talk about not only what I'm mostly excited about, but what I think is the big takeaway from these changes, and that's what's going to be happening specifically in competitive. The goal for competitive moving forward seems to be a more tactical and reaction-based combat system, and they intend to do this a variety of ways that on paper might be a little frustrating, but I'm actually really excited about. To achieve this kind of combat, they want to basically nerf all damage, and this includes things like condition damage, which has been burstier than they wanted it to be. Condition damage specifically is going to see a reduction to the number of stacks applied and an increase to the duration, which should mean the same amount of damage over a longer period of time instead of a lot of front-loaded damage. They'll be nerfing healing to match the nerfs to damage, and they want to increase cooldowns, especially on hard-hitting or really effective abilities. And on top of all of that, it seems like they want to try and get away from passive traits or instant abilities, things that don't really play nice in an active response-based combat system. If you want to see all of the intricate values that they'll be changing to achieve this, you can look at the patch notes themselves. But because these changes are pretty straightforward, I feel like even though I don't play PvP in World vs. World enough to really talk about it in any detail, I might actually start playing PvP in World vs. World when this patch goes live, because I think these changes are going to be huge for those modes. With all of these changes, it seems like they're trying to make the fights in these modes a bit longer. With longer fights, you might still die, but at least you'll now have the opportunity to learn from your mistakes and change your build, or just become better at your class or your rotation, whatever it is. If they can slow down fights, we might still die while trying to explore these game modes, but I think there'll be ample time to learn from our mistakes, and the end result should be more people involved in these competitive modes, at least if you're looking at these patch notes like I am. I don't think it's any secret that I haven't been playing a lot of Guild Wars 2 lately, and that's because a good chunk of what makes up endgame in Guild Wars 2 is the competitive scene, and I've just never really felt like that is something I can get good at because of the burstiness, mostly. There is nothing in-depth about this video. I just wanted to express my personal hype for these changes and kind of get feelers out there, because I know that a lot of you guys who watch are mostly PvE players, and if maybe you agree with my complaints about structured PvP at the very least. I will be testing out both World vs. World and PvP once these patches go live, and I intend to make another video to kind of give you guys my thoughts. The paradigm shift is here. They are changing the way combat works, and they're changing it a lot in competitive. I hope that, like myself, you'll find yourself at least trying these modes out when those patches go live, which I haven't seen any kind of release date for just yet. But you guys will have to let me know how you feel about these changes. Do you not care about them at all? Is it just like, well, it's not more PvE content, so oh well? Or like me, do you just feel like those game modes needed a little bit of love, and this might just be the thing that it needed the most? Anyway guys, I know this is a short video. I just saw these changes and got super excited, so I thought I'd make a video here real quick, and I look forward to seeing what you guys say in the comments. Anyway guys, as always, thank you for watching this or any other one of my videos. I hope you have a super swell day, and I'll see you in the next one. The scope of this update ended up being slightly unreal in the raw number of changes, but there are only a handful of underlying ideas that were considered against every skill in the game. It means that there are a lot of those around here, and so a lot of changes, and the result is a giant set of changes. Moving forward with competitive balance, we want to make smaller adjustments more often. The specific cadence of balance will always depend on our overall release schedule, but ideally it'll be closer to every 4 to 6 weeks. Going to be radically different, and moving forward we will be doing more separation and targeted adjustments on a per mode basis. We're planning many changes of this nature, as well as reworks and more. We look forward to seeing your feedback on both this set of changes as well as future potential changes. Was it fish matter? The paradigm shift is upon us.